Hi everyone, how you all doing? It's so good to see all of you again. It's bizarre, this live stream, the last live stream I did was a week ago, as it always is. But I did miss you guys this week. Especially coming the last couple of days. I was looking forward to talking to you guys again. So, how have things been? It's bizarre, when I put the lights on, all of a sudden I can see dust on my monitor, even though I cleaned the dust off not long ago. I like how you're all saying, "All hail the captain." Big Bash says, I finally saw Godzilla -1. Top 5 best movies of all time. That's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All hail the king. All hail the captain. Yes, I have heard Inside Out 2's gone to $1 billion. I said in that other video that I made, and the live stream I did a couple live streams ago, I said I wouldn't be surprised if it hits the $1 billion point, and it has. So that's very good for it. Oh, Charleston, how you doing? Fireboys, good to see you. King of the Monsters 2021, great to see you as well. Has someone done a... I thought someone done a Streamlabs chat. Turns out someone just liked my Instagram post. But yeah, I'll keep this handy in case there are any Streamlabs posts. In fact, this does remind me I need to bring an image into one of the stories we're going to be covering. See very quickly. There we go. There we go. Just bringing something into the Mortal Kombat story. Should have brought it in earlier, but I completely forgot. Let me just quickly crop this. And let's crop it at the bottom. And here we go. There we go. That's there. All ready for when we talk about it. Let me get my article ready as well, because I just clicked another link. Here we go. Stories are right here. 29 of you are watching right now, so we'll wait a little bit more just to get more people in. Be sure to click that thumbs up button on the stream. That always helps. Is always very much appreciated. And in the meantime, share the stream out if you can, so more people can gain access to it as well as we talk about this stuff. I'm going to give you guys a quick update before we get to the stories. Inside Out 1 versus Inside Out 2, I have been working non-stop on that video. And it is literally... Let's see. I've literally just today, as I was editing it a couple hours ago. Well, not far off anymore, guys. The video, I've done all the editing. There's just about 2 or 3 more little bits I've got to add to the video. And then I've got to do all the intro for the video that I do. I've got to edit that. I've already done the audio and the voiceover. I just got to edit the video footage. Then I got to put all the music in, and then I got to level out the music. That's the final step. And then I got to put the patrons at the very end of the video, you know, on the credits. So I haven't done that list yet. So if you want your name in the credits with the list of patrons at the end, all you got to do is go over to my Patreon and sign up, and you could sign up for any of the perks and I'll put your names in there. But you can even do it for the $1 perk, and once you do that, your name will be in the credits. So I haven't copied the credits, done the credits list yet, so if you want to be put in there, head over to Patreon and I'll put you in there for sure. There's still time if you want to be put into the Inside Out versus video. And of course there are other perks there if you want to gain access to those as well. So, MovieFan2002 says, hot take, I think the X-Men movies that have the word X-Men in the title should have ended with Days of Future Past. Interesting. Yeah. Just reading some of your guys' comments. Some interesting stuff in there. Joshman says, I'm definitely looking forward to your Versus video on Inside Out 1 and Inside Out 2. Yeah, I've got some things that I want to share about both of those movies. So yeah, I'm looking forward to showing you guys that Versus video. Of course, it will go to patrons first as part of the early access, and then it will come to everyone else on YouTube. Big Bash says, Eric, do you have any unpopular opinions about the Arkham series? Are you talking about the Arkham video game series or the Arkham Asylum show that we're talking about? The Time Shadow says, hot take, Dark Phoenix is absolutely awesome despite it making no sense. I wouldn't say it's awesome, but I would say there was enjoyment to be had in it. Especially when he was asking, Magneto was asking Jean, whose blood is that? And then when he asked her again, and I was like, ooh, if he finds out, he'll get pissed. Which he did. Joshman says, are you going to be spoiling Inside Out 2 in your Versus video? Not really. I'll be mentioning some jokes. I will show a screenshot or two from the final scene. But, I mean, if you call that a hugging shot between three people, if you call that a spoiler, that's probably the most spoilery it'll get. But there wasn't really much to spoil in Inside Out 2, the more I think about it. So, I won't really be spoiling anything big, like big plot points or anything. So, yeah, there wouldn't really be much spoilers in there, no. But I do mention some jokes and things. But at this point, everyone has seen Inside Out 2. Jake says, I'm late, I guess. No, you're right on time. I'm deliberately not gotten into the stories yet because I'm waiting for more people to join the stream. So it looks like it's a good thing I waited for you, Jake. Someone has donated $1 via Streamlabs. So thank you very much for that. Whoever did that, we'll find out right now. Although I think I might have an idea who did it. Let's see, who's the generous person that donated that $1? What is going on here? Oh, it wants me to log back in for some reason. Bear with me a second. Continue, allow. Yeah, that was just... Here we go. Ooh, yeah, King of the Monsters is the one that did it. King of the Monsters, who's done a £1 Streamlabs chat, is given a couple of posters, and then he says, I've got to go look after the kids. So, alright. I'll show the posters. Let's see what posters are here. Oh, that's actually rather fascinating. The other one that he wants me to show. Let's see. That's kind of fascinating as well. Man, he's actually... King of the Monsters 2021 is actually very good at these photo jobs. It's actually kind of... Wow, I actually would want to see this movie. I'll show you guys what he did later on. As you know, as we get to the very end and we do the Q&A, because right now we're very early in, I gotta get these talk about these stories. So don't worry, King of the Monsters, I will show those pretty awesome posters you did. Let's see, one of you responded when I asked a question. Big Bash says, I meant the games, Eric. Unpopular opinion on the Arkham games. Is there an unpopular opinion? I don't really have an unpopular opinion on the Arkham games. I mean, I think there's one... When you play the game once already, one of the sections of the game that is quite boring to replay that I don't really like very much in Arkham Asylum is when you're tiptoeing to make sure that you don't wake up Killer Croc. That part, when you come to it, I'm always like, oh god, I gotta do that again when I'm replaying the game. And Arkham City, I get that whenever you have to go into that steel mill, and you gotta keep using that thing and, you know, pulling yourself on that ice little platform that you're on. Those are the things that I've not really liked doing. So maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I've genuinely liked those. And anything I don't like in those games is things that other people don't like. So I haven't really got an unpopular opinion on it. Let's see. Looks like I've got, 2 super chats. 3 super chats. Jess has come back into the super chat. Thank you very much, Jess. First it says MovieFan2002, who has done a $10 super chat. He asks, Eric, do you have any OG Avatar The Last Airbender hot takes? Because mine is Katara shouldn't have bloodbended in the Southern Raiders, especially that she cried once Hummer told her. Well, that's not really a hot take. I think people would understand what you're saying there, that she shouldn't, and it was clearly something that she did in a fit of rage, what Katara did there. So it actually was great because it shows that even she is not perfect, that she's got flaws. So it was actually very good. I liked that. And it's another reason which could maybe say that she would never do that again. So I think that was great. In terms of hot takes, I don't have hot takes. Again, a lot of the stuff I like with Avatar is the stuff that I like, is the stuff that other people like, and the stuff that I don't like is the stuff other people don't like. My biggest problem with Avatar is in the first season. That's where you could say is the most problems. My biggest hot take is that I wasn't really a fan of the final 2 episodes in that. I like the stuff with Zuko and Aang when Zuko takes him away as Aang is going to the spirit world. But the whole Aang merging with the sea spirit, it was cool and all, but it did seem a little bit. I wasn't overly thrilled with it as a climax, in terms of a seasonal climax or the ending of a season. I wasn't overly fond with that, and I didn't like the relationship between Sokka and that Princess Yue. It needed more time to me, so that's probably my hottest takes, I'd say, because other people did like the relationship between those two. So yeah, thanks for the $10 donation, Movie Fan. I appreciate it, and that's my hot take. Jess says, rank your best to worst Spider-Man movies, and that's a $2 super chat from Jess. My worst to best. Okay, my worst to best, this is going to be a big list, is I'm not counting Cross the Spider-Verse films, just the live-action movies. Spider-Man 1 is the best to worst is how I'm doing it. So, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, and then The Amazing Spider-Man 1, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because I find them very watchable, even if I think they're not real, there's no real point behind them. And then I would say it's Spider-Man No Way Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Spider-Man Homecoming. That's how I would position it. Crazy Cat Lady, who I always say is demonstrating the opposite of their name. You're actually a very nice cat lady. Gave $5 donation. Did the show have any The Game and Luke Cage's One's my favorite Mortal Kombat game? You need to clarify that. I don't know how to really clear that up. I've cleared these up when you guys normally ask questions, but that's a hard one to actually decipher. What were you asking? Did the show have any game and Luke Cage is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat game? Favorite characters in the game? Did the show have any what? I don't know what you're asking. You need to ask your question again and I'll answer it, okay? Let's see. Gregory says, please watch Dune 2. Don't worry, Gregory, I will. Also, Gregory, another thing I'll be doing is after this Inside Out versus video, your Puss in Boots 1 versus Puss in Boots 2 video that you commissioned is next. It'll be put into production and it's gonna... that'll be the next versus video. Okay then, so who's ready to get into the actual stories? Oh, Adam Grunther is here as well. Goes, honestly, I don't care about the Arkham show that much. We've had plenty of Batman shows without Batman at this point. I don't think it's a huge loss. Well, we'll talk about that later when we get to that part of the story. Oh crap, looks like that's the first part. What am I talking about? That's the first story we're talking about. Looks like we're going to get to that now then, doesn't it? Okay then, so let's get into that right now. We're going to talk about the cancelled Arkham Asylum show, which was something that Matt Reeves said he was going to do. Now, when Matt Reeves was promoting Batman, he was also talking about some HBO Max shows that were going to be made in his Batman universe. One of them was going to be a show about Penguin. The other was supposed to be about this corrupt cop, which was essentially going to be a battle for his soul, which was a story he wanted to tell, but the studio wanted something a bit more marketable. So, there's the third option which he proposed to Warner Brothers, which was an Arkham show, and that was a show that Matt Reeves was actually going to make. He was going to make an Arkham show, which was going to be delving into Arkham Asylum, or his world's, his Batman universe's version of Arkham Asylum. And it sounded rather interesting where he talks about it, and I was like, that is something I want to see. But strangely, and I mean like really, really strangely, James Gunn all of a sudden, when he became, you know, started managing the DCU, he said that, oh no, well, that Arkham show is going to be for the DCU, not for Matt Reeves' Batman universe. And you can see here, this is the tweet chain that happened. This guy goes here, "Sir, could you tell me if Matt is producing another Batverse project other than the Batman 2, Penguin, and Arkham?" And then James Gunn says, "Right now, Matt is producing Arkham as a DCU series, so there's just the two for now." And then the guy goes, "Sorry, is the Arkham show set in the DCU?" And then James Gunn goes, "Yes, we love Matt as a director and producer, so he'll be producing stories both within the Batman universe and within the DCU." And there was also some other chains where people were asking questions to James Gunn, and they said, but wasn't this supposed to be a Matt Reeves universe show? And then James Gunn said, essentially, no, it was always meant to be a DCU show, which was so weird. People are saying, but you changed it. And then he goes, no, I didn't change it. It was always meant to be a DCU show. And that is just, I'm going to come out and say is a lie, because Matt Reeves straight out said this was meant to be a show within his universe. And James Gunn, I'm sure he liked the idea and then wanted it, so he says, okay, I'll have it in my universe instead. But the thing is, he doesn't even have a Batman, so it makes no sense for him to promise a show that is so far down the line that I'm genuinely surprised he even thought of one yet. So it was such a weird thing. But unfortunately, as it stands now, an article came out where basically it said that the Batman show, or the Arkham Asylum show has been shelved. So it's not going to be put into production anymore, which is so bizarre. And it makes me think, was this something that James Gunn wanted to do? Did he want to take a show away from Matt Reeves? Did he think that there was too much, like, did he not want Matt Reeves to be making a universe that was that vast, that was getting so many shows? So he says, alright, I'll get control of it, I might do something with it, alright, okay, I'm not going to do anything with it right now, there you go, the show's cancelled. Was this an attempt by him to try to reduce the output of Matt Reeves' Batman universe, so that way there could be more emphasis on his DCU? Whatever it is, I don't know, that's just me speculating. But it just seems very odd. For all the good things I can say about James Gunn, and I've said a lot of good things about him over the last 2 live streams that we've done, but I feel like he has been very insincere with this Arkham Asylum show, and I'm actually very disappointed with him. Maybe this was forces out of his control that was doing it. Who knows if it was a David Zaslav thing. But if it's a David Zaslav thing, usually you'll find out about that. This one, it hasn't done that. It just says out of nowhere the show has been cancelled. So this is where James Gunn got a bit weird in my view. It's like, there's the honest side of him, which I really do like, but then there was this side, which was just weird. I don't think he's fighting with Matt Reeves, which is what some of the rumors are out there. Who knows? Who knows for sure? But this does seem like a weird move. He should have just left Matt Reeves to it rather than hijacking his show and then just letting it go. So now Matt Reeves is not producing for both universes. He's just doing it for his own, but he's one show short. That was very weird to me. Adam Grunther says, honestly, in James's defense, if the DCU is more fantastical, you can get a lot more creative with the Batman villains, so characters like Clayface and Poison Ivy can actually appear. Yeah, that's true. And I'm sure that's why he wanted an Arkham show as well. But it just makes no sense why he would take Matt Reeves' show away from him to say, here, do it in the DCU instead, and then to say, okay, it's not being done at all. It just seems very inefficient to me. Like, it just seems like being confusing for the sake of being confusing. So, ignore that. So, I am very disappointed with that, because I was looking forward to what Matt Reeves could do with this, but unfortunately it looks like he's not going to do anything with it. I hope the show does get revived again. So yeah, I do hope the show gets revived again. I really do, because I do want to see what Matt Reeves' intended idea was, and I'm sure he's going to be asked that in interviews in the future. Now, before we continue with that part of the story, let's just quickly answer a Streamlabs chat that someone has done. It's from Yako, the Volcanic Muto, who has done a £1.21 donation. It says, "Hey Eric, how do you do? I'm starting to get better myself." That's great to hear. "My theatre is playing The Bad Guys on a Tuesday for only $2, and since it's one of my favourite movies, I had to take the opportunity. Anyway, have a great week. Take care." Oh, that's great. I hope you enjoy the movie this Tuesday. And yeah, everything has been great, going great here. I've been very busy and I've been getting a lot of work done, which is great. So yeah, and I've got some cool videos coming out for you guys. So yeah, things are going great. And speaking of things going great, Jake has donated $27.99. Thank you very much, Jake, as always, for these donations. Jake says, "Warner Brothers been giving a lot of losses recently. Anyway, I feel like Madam Web should be called Madam Pepsi. Lol. At least this one got cancelled before being fully finished. Also, you know the movie Idiocracy? Do you mean Idiocracy? You know the movie Idiocracy? It's weird. Is that a word that I'm not aware of? I'm sorry, give me a second. Just trying to find what that means. Oh, Idiocracy. That's what you're saying. Idiocracy is what you wrote. That's what threw me off. Also, you know the movie Idiocracy. It's weird. Yeah, it is. And yeah, it's a good thing that it didn't get made and then got cancelled by David Zaslav. That would not have been any fun. But yeah, thank you for the donation, Jake. And yes, I completely agree about Madam Web as well. Madam Pepsi. That Pepsi product placement of Madam Web was so insane. I mean, there was several shots where I was laughing because she was holding it with the Pepsi logo perfectly in line with the camera, so we could see the logo like 100% clearly. So yeah, it was that was hilarious. That was, I don't know what they were doing with that product placement. Anyway, MovieFan2002 has given a $5 donation. Says, "Eric, I forgot, the Snyder Cut is going to come to theaters soon. I said soon because Zack Snyder has yet to give us a release date." Yet to give us a release date. Who knows? Maybe it's just a smaller run. I doubt it'll be a full-on theatrical run. But then again, given how bad theaters can be doing at points, it wouldn't surprise me if they would just take it. So who knows? But I'd be surprised if they actually got that done, you know, because they're trying to get people to move on from that. Putting it back up is just going to reignite, you know, certain people's passions on that. Let's see. Matthew says, "Hey Eric, can you play some music on this live stream?" I'll probably try to at some point. Maybe some chill jazz music in the background. Piano music, but not right now. Jacob Jean says, "I am saddened." Yeah, about Matt Reeves' show not being done. I'm sad about that too. Classic Brickman says, "Hi Eric, I'm in." That is great. I'm glad to see you're in the stream. Now, where is... Oh, here it is. Okay. So yes, it's a shame that the show has gotten cancelled. I was looking forward to anything Matt Reeves does. So yeah, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts on this? Are you disappointed? Jess, I can't do that. Copyright. So I can't use any copyrighted music. Gwen says, "Madam Web was not a movie, it was a 2-hour-long Pepsi commercial." That it was. Tanner, the Puss in Boots video is not made yet. I said after this video I'm going to be doing it. MovieFan2002 says, "Don't you hate it when something you are excited for gets cancelled?" We all hate it. We all hate it when that happens. Ocean Man, Jake. Again, like I said, it has to be non-copyrighted music. Rohan says this is disappointing. It is. Classic Brickman says that's pretty disappointing. King of the Monster says, alright, it's dinner time, so I got some free time. Showing the posters at the Q&A of the live stream. That's right, I'll be doing it at the Q&A way later on, after we finish these stories, because those are some nice looking posters that you made. Khan, I do agree it does look like a fan film, but we'll talk about that next time. I think it would have been mid, says Matthew. Well, that's fair enough, because here's the thing that Matt Reeves can do. He can bring Robert Pattinson into his shows, which is something that Marvel don't do with their shows, and I think people think, well, if Marvel don't do it, that's just how it is. But if you remember what Peacemaker did, it brought the Justice League in, and I feel like Matt Reeves, with his Batman universe, he can bring Bruce Wayne and Batman in. Heck, there's rumors that when they were filming Penguin, that Robert Pattinson was in the area. So that would be great if they find a way to make these shows better than the Marvel ones, because the Marvel ones, you can tell they don't want to put in their big hero characters. But Matt Reeves and DC, they've already shown that they are perfectly fine with putting their big characters in these shows. So yeah, I would hope that they would continue doing that. You know, that way it feels like it truly is a part of the world then, and not something that only like a budget part of the world, which is what Marvel have always done. Jake says Batman has been getting disrespect a lot recently. Has he been? Aside from Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, I feel like that's the only thing that's been disrespecting him lately. Oh yeah, there's also Gotham Knights as well. Yeah, I'm forgetting about that. Dr. Baby says, when's the Inside Out versus video? I said at the beginning of this stream, it's almost ready. I just got to put all the music in and do a few extra touches to it. Then it'll go to my Patreon first for early access members, even YouTube people, YouTube memberships who have clicked the join button, who have got the early access perk. Even they will get early access to it first. And then everyone else on YouTube will get it a little bit after. So, yeah. Big Bash says, what if Matt Reeves directed Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? How would the movie have turned out? Better, it would have. Even would have looked better as well. Because I don't think that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes looks as good as what the Matt Reeves Apes movies did. Especially War for the Planet of the Apes. Crazy Cat Lady has clarified her message. Did Arkham Asylum, the show, have any games? And Luke Cage is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. Oh, Luke Cage is one of your favorite Mortal Kombat characters. The Arkham Asylum show have any games? Or do you mean, did the Arkham Asylum games have the show? Arkham Asylum, this was not going to be... The Arkham Asylum show was not going to be a game. It didn't have any games. That is a separate series. This was just supposed to be in Matt Reeves' world, the Arkham Asylum in Matt Reeves' world, because every Batman, of course, has an Arkham Asylum where all the supervillains go when Batman captures them. So this was going to be basically showing that. And I think we already saw some of Arkham in the Batman, with the Joker in there and with the Riddler in there. So this is going to be a show taking place within that building, is what it was supposed to be. So, yeah. Tana says, how much would it cost to do a versus video for a show? I've not put a price up for that, because that would just be so much work to do. An insane amount of work. I'd say probably about $1,000. Because you have to watch 2 entire shows, then you got to write about 2 entire shows, then you got to edit 2 entire shows into your video, and you guys saw how long it took me to make the Avatar: The Last Airbender versus video with the animated and the Netflix show. So yeah, it would take a long time. Yeah, Jacob, I've already talked about that. But that was more of a passion project for Matt Reeves, about this cop who's going to be a battle for his soul. Gordon was going to be in the show as well. But yeah. So hopefully that comes out. Anyway, who's ready for the next story? Now, Mortal Kombat 2. There is going to be there is going to be a Mortal Kombat 2 movie coming out. Now, you already know I did a versus video with the first Mortal Kombat, and I wasn't overly pleased with that. If you can remember, I wasn't a big fan of it. So apparently they're going to be doing another Mortal Kombat show. Sorry, they're going to do another Mortal Kombat movie. And that movie is going to supposedly be better than what the previous one was. So that's something that we found out. And apparently test screenings for the new Mortal Kombat 2. The first test screening just happened recently. And people are starting to talk about it. And let's see, this was what I saw when I found out. It was this right here. Let's bring this up, make this bigger. The live-action Mortal Kombat 2 movie recently had a test screening, and judging by what happens in the movie, fans weren't too pleased. Although the screening had plenty of fights, gore and fatalities, it's said to have sidelined most of its characters. It's a Johnny and Kitana movie. So, yeah, that's basically something kind of interesting about this. I didn't know that they were going to sideline a lot of the characters and just focus on 2. Now, interestingly, something like this movie did, which I was not very happy with, is it cast Karl Urban right here to play Johnny Cage. And I thought that was bad casting, because I think he's too old now, Karl Urban. He's way too old now, and I don't see him as being loose like Johnny Cage is. And plus, Johnny Cage is at his best when he's younger. In that 1995 Mortal Kombat movie, I thought they did a much better job with casting that Johnny Cage, and you need someone like that. But they got someone who is much more of a marketable name than anything. But a lot of us that are fans of it looked at him and we were like, yeah, that's not Johnny Cage. Maybe he would have been in his younger days, but not now. I think you can only see Butcher in him now from The Boys, if you were to see him in anything. So I was like, that's not really the best casting. But let's see what people have said about this, because the reviews that have come out from the test screenings, they have talked about his performance, and I'm going to go through that. I'm going to look at this website, which is right here. Ooh, let's bring it in. Where are you? There you are. Okay, now this is from Cosmic Book News, is the article that I am reading. And it says, Mortal Kombat 2 test screening reactions, lot of deaths and gore. Movie said to be all about Karl Urban as Johnny Storm and Adeline Rudolph as Kitana. Now, I'm going to read this from the website as I talk to you, and it's going to be talking about what this, what this is going to be about, essentially. So, yeah, bear with me as I read through. But apparently it's supposed to be about these two characters, Johnny and Kitana. So bear that in mind. So, Mortal Kombat 2 starring Karl Urban will be released in theaters on October 24th, 2025. So that is a long time away. I'm surprised they're already doing test screenings, which basically means the movie has still got a lot of work that needs doing. But the fact they've already got test screenings going, and this movie is going to be out for like a year and a half, essentially. Well, a year and 3 months, but close enough. Over a year is surprising. So let's continue reading. The film stars Karl Urban as Johnny Cage, and while the plot hasn't officially been announced, previous Mortal Kombat 2 leaks offer the film sees Shao Kahn, the Emperor of Outer World, killing King Gerard, taking his throne and turning his queen into an undead servant. Their daughter, Kitana, scarred for life after her father and mother are killed, seeks revenge. So that's basically what's going on. That's essentially the synopsis for the movie. The leaked character descriptions also said that Karl Urban's Johnny Cage at first fights Baraka. Baraka is the one, if you remember, with the sharp knives and the sharp teeth. So, going back to what it says, Karl Urban's Johnny Cage at first fights Baraka before they come to a mutual respect for one another and become allies in their battle against Shao Kahn and the Outer World. Which is interesting because Baraka has always been the bad guy with our main characters in Mortal Kombat. So the fact that here they're trying to make him an ally is an interesting twist to have a monster like that on the good guys team. So I actually do think that's rather fascinating. So continuing, What do the Mortal Kombat 2 test screenings reactions say? Well, according to the Mortal Kombat 2 test screening reactions, the film features a lot of deaths and gore. It also seems as if the movie mostly focuses on Kitana as reactions to Karl Urban as Johnny Storm, and even the end of the film aren't all that favourable. So people are not happy with the end of the film and with Karl Urban's performance. The reactions to him are not that favourable, which is kind of what I expected. I did think that he was miscast, and that does seem to be what it sounds like here. Because we know he's a great actor, but I'm assuming he's miscast here. Adam Grunther says, could be another Kano situation where it seems like he's on the good guy's side, then he shows that he's still a villain. That's a very good, sort of like, that's a very well spotted, that is. That's a very, very well spotted. Very good observation. That very much could be true. But I wouldn't want them to do that, because then it would just be a repeat of the first one. It'll be predictable, so I hope not. Continuing, it says the movie has a lot of deaths. It's a Johnny and Kitana movie. All characters are sidelined, which I don't really like that they're sidelining all the characters. I feel like they should do what the Scorpion's Revenge animated movie did, which is you focus on your main characters, but then the other characters are still there contributing. But just sidelining them all, to me, after they didn't really do a great job with them in the first movie, sounds like they're not fixing the problem, which is what people wanted to see, is them to fix the problem. Now, it also has great fight sequences, which is very good. Lots of gore. Cole was okay as Johnny, but maybe a little too old for the role. And Kitana was amazing, is what they say. So, that's interesting. And then you have a lot of other people talking about the test screening they had. And let's scroll through and you can read what these test screeners say. Mortal Kombat 2 just had its test screening and they are okay. Has great world building, great fight scenes and gore, but the ending was lackluster. Karl Urban as Johnny Cage was a little disappointing. Another person says, from what I've heard, a test screening was shown for the Mortal Kombat 2 film. Apparently the film has really good fight sequences and world building. I've also heard that the test screenings didn't care much for the ending. Take this all with a grain of salt. And when you keep looking at the rest, that's essentially what they say. And that doesn't sound great for the movie, because test screeners are usually very optimistic. Let's put it that way. They are usually very optimistic, and you guys remember, do you remember the very, very high test scores for movies like The Flash? Now, I liked The Flash, and even I thought those early test screening reviews were way too freaking high. Like, the movie did not deserve all that praise. And let's not forget, the Green Lantern movie also got a lot of praise. So did the Suicide Squad movie, the first Suicide Squad. So just because these people say that it's going to be good does not mean anything. But that's the thing, they're not saying it's good. They're saying it was disappointing. So if they're saying it's disappointing, how disappointing will the rest of us find it? That's what my question is. I'm actually concerned about it. And here's the big problem for me, guys. The director for Mortal Kombat 2 is Simon McQuoid. Now, who is Simon McQuoid? He's the guy that directed the first Mortal Kombat movie. So basically, if you've had problems with that first movie, I very much think that you're still going to have problems with this one. I think they should have hired a better director, to be perfectly honest with you, because the director they got, it felt like he was half in it and half out of it, because there was a lot of great cinematography shots in there and a lot of great looking shots where it looked like they put a lot of work and effort into it. But then there were other parts where the cinematography looked so flat and the effects got really bad, and it looked like they just didn't really care. So, yeah, that's quite concerning, to say the least, that they're bringing back the same director. And also, from what I hear, Cole Young, the new character they invented for the first movie, who had literal plot armor as his power, he's back in this movie as well, which is a shame. I wish they would have just taken him out entirely. But no, he's coming back as well, but hopefully they dismiss him the most out of everyone. Adam Grunther said he said that he's listened to the criticism and wants to make it better. Okay, my opinions towards people that say that normally softens, and I'm like, okay, let's give you another chance. Because you don't want to pull what what were some of the other directors that they did stuff? They did stuff like, and they just blamed audiences for it. Like, what was it? That Charlie's Angels movie. She blamed that the director for that, whose name is escaping me, but she played, but she was in the Spider-Man movies and she played Betty. Yeah, she did a bad job and she blamed audiences. There's a lot of Kathleen Kennedy will blame audiences for anything. There's a lot of people out there that blame audiences and say, oh, they just don't like strong female characters and this and that. And I always say, if they don't like the movie, you should look at yourself, because a good movie is a good movie. People will recognize it. The fact that your movie was bad and you're just trying to jump onto the thing and say, oh, poor me. Elizabeth Banks, thank you, Adam Grunther. Where she was blaming... She made it a sexist thing and saying that men didn't come see a movie and men didn't like it and this and that is a problem. Even though the statistics show that even women weren't going to watch that movie. Do you know where all the women did go? They went to go see Rambo, the Rambo 5, that same week. So, there's a lot of very silly stuff that goes around where people just start blaming audiences. Jeff Loveness, yep, Jacob Jean, you're right, who wrote Ant-Man 3, also didn't listen to the criticisms. He goes, at first he was hurt about the reviews and the criticisms, but then he went to the premiere and everyone was laughing, and he was like, you know what? No. Essentially what I wrote was fine, and there's nothing wrong, essentially. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but that's essentially what he said, and I was like, dude, if you said that you'll learn from your mistakes, I would have given you another chance, but the fact that you just says, no, it's fine, I'm going to continue, that was a big no-no. So, yeah, I like that Adam Grunther said that the director said he wants to make it better. Okay then, when you say that, it makes me think, okay, I'll give you a second chance. But the second chance is all you're getting. You got to make sure that you do it at this point. If you don't, I just don't know what to say at that point. But yeah, the reviews don't seem great so far. The early reactions to the second movie. So I hope he does a better job, but we'll have to see. So what do you guys think of this? Do you think that this is going to be a good movie? Do you think it's going to be a disappointment? How much stock do you put into these reviews from these early test screeners? Jacob says, I'm personally excited for Mortal Kombat 2. A big thing that Mortal Kombat 2 also needs, as well as a better director, because, you know, people are already giving, in the comments, you guys are already giving better director ideas, like Chad Stahelski. One of you says Gareth Edwards, or was it Gareth Evans, who did The Raid? Like, these are great directors that you could hire that could do, I think, a great job, especially the guy that did The Raid. I would love to see a Mortal Kombat film from him. He knows how to make his movies proper violent, but yeah, these newer ones, these newer directors, it feels like they're getting inexperienced directors for this, is not something that I'm particularly fond of. Big Bash says, I need to see a trailer to see the quality. That's what we did with the first Mortal Kombat. The trailers looked great, but the movie ended up being disappointing, so I don't think a trailer's going to cut it. To me, I need to see the actual movie. Matthew says Len Wiseman should direct. Adam Grunther says, the director said he's taken their criticisms into account. He's still going to do his own choices for certain things, but he will make sure to improve on what was lacking in the first film. Well, here's hoping. Josh Mann says, what was the reason you were not a fan of the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie? I wasn't a fan of the story. I wasn't a fan of the action. I even thought a couple of the action scenes were good, but the rest I felt like they were underwhelming. The blood was nowhere near as bloody as the game. In America, it got rated R, but here in the UK it got rated 15, which is bad. To me, instant loss. Because the games here in the UK are all rated 18, which is basically your hard R or NC-17. So that's what you're looking to go for here in the UK with the rating. If you go to 15, that means the games are more violent, and you can look up those game fatalities on YouTube for free. So why should you have to pay to go to the theatre to see a lesser violent version of those fatalities and stuff? So that's one of the reasons. But yeah, it needed more blood as well. But if you want to know exactly what I thought, watch my versus video of Mortal Kombat with the 1995 movie. I would highly recommend you watch that if you want to know my thoughts. Scorpion's Revenge, I think, was that 15 or was that 18 in the UK? Regardless, it was very bloody, that one. That was bloodier than the actual movie we got. Adam Grunther says, the actor who voiced Cabal in the first film is playing Quan Chi in this film, so I hope Cabal is in it again. That'll be interesting then, so let's see what happens with that. Adam Grunther says, by the way, have you seen the animated Johnny Cage movie and Sub-Zero movie? Which one are we talking? I'm trying to remember, because they released a lot of these movies. I think when I watched Battle of the Realms, which I reviewed on YouTube, I did not like that animated movie. That took away my faith in these films, so I stopped watching after that. So no, I don't think I have seen it. Big Bash says the UK rating system sounds so much better than the American one. It sure does. Oh, Gwen says it was 18. You said it in your versus video. Oh, that's good then. Oh, even Jess is saying it was an 18. Oh, good. So I did address it then in that versus video. See, that's why I say watch the versus video, because it's easier to, you know, understand what I'm... Because there I did my research, so it's easier to know what was what. Jake says, to be fair, I feel like the game rating system is more strict in the UK than the movie rating system there. That's not true, Jake, because the same people, the same company, the same ratings board that gave Mortal Kombat a 15 in the movie is the same ratings board that gave the game an 18. Sometimes they are the ones that come and monitor the games and they give them like their ratings, and yeah, they gave it an 18. And it's easy to see why, because the game is so much more violent than the movie. The movie wasn't that violent, all things said. So, and the actors were saying how bloody it was on set and everything, and I'm like, well, I don't know if they took some of that blood out, but I didn't see all that blood in the movie. King the Monster 2021 says, making people watch the video also gives more traffic and revenue. It does, but only by the thousands of views. A few people watching it is not going to really do that. So when I say watch the video, I mean it, because I've got all my opinions are categorized and basically put into that video. Joshman says, do you think the director of Mortal Kombat 21 is actually going to make things worse for Mortal Kombat 2? No, I think he can do better. But the question is, how much better will he do it? A bit better or a lot better? We need a lot better. Tanner says, how long does it take you to make a versus video? It really depends, but it can take 2 to 4 weeks. You know, it can take less if I just get to write the script just like that. But then you got to edit it. That takes a long time and everything, so yeah. Yeah, Jake, but that Destroy All Humans was a game back in the early 2000s, so who knows, maybe then they were more, you know, sensitive when it came to that, but not anymore. Now, they do seem much more on point. Like, even Arkham Asylum was given a 15 back in the time. Gwen says, I'd be waiting for Eric Carter's review. That means a lot. Thank you, Gwen, I appreciate that. The Sub-Zero and Johnny Cage animated movies are genuinely fun, says Adam Grunther. The Johnny Cage movie is also one of the last films to have Gilbert Gottfried. Oh, it is? Wow, I never knew that. Alright, Charleston, hopefully I'll see you soon. Jake says, sorry if I'm being ignorant, I'm just going off of stuff I've seen on the web. Oh no, that's alright. The BBFC have changed their standards over the years, so they're very much there's a potential that you are right. They've even said they change what their rating system is based on what parents say. Which is great, because in the UK, they actually monitor content here. They actually monitor what kids see. Whereas in the in the US, they just don't care. They say they care because, hey, we gave it rated R, but any kid can go and watch an R-rated movie with an adult, so they can watch 50 Shades of Grey for all they care. These rating systems never give these movies NC-17 because they're trying to service the studios, whereas the UK are trying to service the people by, appropriating what kids can or cannot see. So Deadpool and Wolverine, in the US, because it's rated R, kids everywhere can watch it, so long as they're with a parent or guardian. Here in the UK, kids won't be able to watch it. If you're not 15, they won't be able to watch Deadpool and Wolverine. Just like they've not been able to see Deadpool and Wolverine's solo R-rated movies. But funnily enough, Deadpool and Wolverine, let me take a quick look at my phone. Deadpool and Wolverine has not gotten a rating in the UK yet. We're still waiting. Let's see if it's got one yet. I'm still looking. Oh, waiting. Twisters has gotten a 12, which is a PG-13 here. So that movie has, let's see, Deadpool and Wolverine. Yep, it's not got a rating yet. The trailer has been given a 12, which is a PG-13, but there are some 15, which is basically R-rated trailers. Big Bashers, I thought Deadpool would be 18. No, the first Deadpool was 15, the second Deadpool was 15, and Logan was 15. So, quite frankly, if Logan can be 15, which was super violent, I think Deadpool and Wolverine it can't be that violent. So I think Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be 15 as well. Gwen says Deadpool and Wolverine better be an R. Of course it'll be an R. There'll be a huge outcry if there isn't. Back in the day, Big Bash, it probably would have been an 18, but in these days, not really. They would, nowadays, they're less harsh on the ratings nowadays, so yeah, it'll be 15. But Scream has pretty much consistently always been given an 18, but if you ask me, today, I think Scream, the first 3 movies, would probably be given a 15. Especially the third one, because they took a lot of the blood out on that due to a tragedy that happened, so they didn't want to put too much blood in the movies because they thought it'd be considered controversial. But yeah. Khan says, hey Eric, ever thought of hiring an editor or a team that can help you out with most of these videos? Well, yeah, I did think about it, but it would cost money that I don't have. And I did try it once recently as a test run with one of you guys, actually, one of my audience, who suggested that as an idea. And it was a good idea, and it was interesting. But no, I need a more professional level editor in a way to edit just my all the videos I do. Kevin says, Eric, did you get my $5 donation? Was it on Streamlabs or was it on YouTube? Super Chats. Let me take a look. No, I did not get your $5 donation. Big Bash says, what happened for Scream 3 to be edited down, Eric? Well, Scream 3, there was actually a situation in a school. I don't know if there was a school shooting, but there was some tragedy that happened in a school. And, it was, it basically caused a lot of people to, get sensitive towards movies and say movies are causing this and everything, and the studios didn't want to get into that kind of line of sight. So believe it or not, but Stu from Scream 1 was originally going to be the killer in Scream 3, and the twist was going to be is that he was training a lot of other kids in a school to basically be killers, basically. But then when that tragedy happened, they got rid of it. They rewrote it and they had to take him out. And that actor that plays Stu actually says that. You can go look it up and you'll find he's actually talked about that. So yeah, because of that, they tried to take the blood out of the movie. There's only one bloody scene in the film, and they tried to do everything else as well. So, yeah. There's one of the reasons Scream 3 went through some issues, but I'm surprised it ended up being as good as it was. Let's see. Kevin says it was a YouTube super chat. Try it again, because if you got it, I would have seen it if you did it. And if not, I would have scrolled through the chat like I'm doing now. I would have found it, but I don't see it. So I don't think you did. Like, it probably didn't go through. Matthew Club says, Eric, I've been trying to donate $12,000 to your channel. Well, if you do that, do it through Streamlabs, not through YouTube, because YouTube will take a chunk of that. Because it's going to be a huge donation type, they'll take a chunk out of that. Streamlabs won't. So if you're going to do that kind of donation, Streamlabs is the place to go. I know you're joking, by the way, but I'm just saying, if ever that happens, best be prepared for that, if ever that was to happen. Okay. Eric Fireboy says, Eric, have you played Street Fighter games before? Yes, I have. In fact, my favourite Street Fighter game is... Bear with me, it's actually right at the back over there. My favourite Street Fighter game is Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition. That's my favourite Street Fighter game. I play it on my 3DS. Although I have gotten Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition for the Steam Deck, which I've got, again, just sitting off to the side over there. And, yeah. Yeah, basically I've got Street Fighter 5 there, and I haven't played Street Fighter 5 a bunch on the Steam Deck because I like the controls better on the 3DS for fighting games, believe it or not. That analog stick is perfect. But yeah. Oh yes, I did review Street Fighter 5, but this is when they took all the content out. I finally got the game on a discount on my Steam Deck on Steam. And when I did that on Steam, I managed to get the whole proper game there, so that's why I've got the proper game now, all the content they took out, because that release was freaking embarrassing. Paying $60 for that. Matthew Club says, no, seriously, I'm trying to, I just can't get into your membership. Matthew, I am still thinking you're joking, so I feel like that's something that you have to prove to me, because otherwise I still think you're joking. Eric, I'm literally going to donate $12,000. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're saying that in front of a chat of people. Everyone, do you think he's being serious, or do you think he's pulling my leg, trying to have some fun with me? Jacob Jean says, oh damn, well, Capcom wrote, listen, they did, because apparently with Street Fighter 6, they said they're not going to do that again, and they didn't. Matthew says, I'll donate it to you as soon as I can. I like what Gwen says, who says, Streamlabs, Matthew, Streamlabs, which is exactly what I would have said. I like how you guys always give advice to each other, especially when I've asked you to do it in a way. Mr. Llama has joined. Wait, when was Arkham cancelled? It got shelved. It got shelved, Mr. Llama, and it's unfortunate. It really is. That was something I was looking forward to, that show. Jacob says, lol, they're not being serious. Big Bash goes, I need proof. Exactly, I don't think they're being serious. Khan says, I don't know, but it'd be hilarious if it was true. Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Matthew, if it's true, do it through Streamlabs, and then I'll see it, and I'll announce it to everyone, and I will take your name and leave it on the screen for the rest of the live stream. And I'll blow your name up, make it big on the corner of the screen here, and it'll stay on there for the rest of the stream. Let's see. Big Bash goes, Eric, how tall are you? I think I'm 5'8", 5'8.5", something like that. King of the Monster says, no one just has 12 grand laying around. Exactly. Matthew, who's calling you they, them? We have been saying you, him. I've been saying him. Andrew says, what were your thoughts on Hellboy, the Crooked Man trailer? That was a bloody horrible trailer to look at. It really was. And they say the creator is also behind it? I mean, seriously, that is just sad. A company called Ketchup Studios made it. Why can't they just let Guillermo del Toro make his own sequel? Matthew says, the job I do pays well. Well, that's good then, if it pays you well. But Big Bash says, unless he is rich, then he can do it. It's like, yeah. Thing is, I've had this conversation with Jake. You all have seen me have this conversation with Jake. So it's come to a point now where the shock on me has kind of wore off, and I'm like, okay, whoever is the one that wants to do it, it's up to them if they want to do it. Because like I said, any donations always supports the channel. Kevin says, which fight was worse, Hulk versus dogs or his dad? That was a $2 donation as well from Kevin, so thank you very much, Kevin, for the donation. Kevin says, well, we already know what Kevin says. Eric says, the fight with... I didn't like the fights for either, really. They were not that great, and Hulk fighting dogs was kind of lame, but I would say Hulk versus dogs. Hulk versus dogs, I'd say. Matthew says, you don't have to be a millionaire to donate $12,000. That is very true. Jake says, Ketchup Studios? Why does that sound like a YouTube channel? It does, doesn't it? I mean, there are a couple good shots in there in that trailer, but it still looks fan-made. Seriously, Jake, that is a very good spot, that is. That is a really funny spot that you just did. That is funny. If ever I do a video on that Hellboy, which I do want to, but let's see if I can get to it, I might use that. Here, let's take a picture of it. So if I use it, I'll credit you in there as well. Khan says, hey Eric, can we move on to the next story? Yes, we sure can. I've just been having a lot of fun chatting with you guys. And then Matthew dropped the bomb saying, I want to donate you $12,000, which I think that would be... Jake, I think this would be the first time someone would actually top you if they did that. But Matthew, you gotta... This thing is, normally when someone drops the joke at this point, you seem very adamant, so... I don't know where to go at this point. Normally this is where I'd be like, okay, the joke is over, but you're still going with it, so... Hey, if you do that, great. Like I said, I will keep your name on for the rest of the stream. But yeah, like I said, it has to be done Streamlabs, otherwise YouTube will steal a chunk from you. So, but yeah, like I always say, that donations, whatever it is, will always be appreciated, because you guys know I'm always trying to make a living at my YouTube channel. So, with that said, time to move on to the next story. So, the next story is about A Quiet Place. And what are we talking about on A Quiet Place Day 1? Well, first of all, you guys will have seen me with my recent video that I actually reviewed this movie, and I actually gave it a very favorable review. So I didn't really know... I wasn't really... When the trailer was announced, I said that I was not really looking forward to this movie because I thought that they were going to make an origin story from Emmett's point of view, which was Cillian Murphy's character from A Quiet Place Part 2. That's the hope. I was like, oh, they're going to tell his story. But then they didn't tell his story. It ended up just being a couple of other characters that we had never met before. And I was like, seriously? You're going to tell a story about characters we never met before? I thought there was a much better opportunity to tell an origin story on day 1. But watching the movie, I actually really enjoyed it. And I ended up making this video about it. A quick movie review of A Quiet Place Day 1. And that video is my most recent video that I uploaded, so if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch the review, and you'll know what I think of it. But I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this film. So, yeah, basically, I was surprised and a lot of other people were too. The movie was reviewed very favorably, and it's gotten a lot of great press as well. It actually has done very good at the worldwide box office. On its opening weekend, it made about $50 million, which was the highest opening weekend for any of the Quiet Place movies. And that's just domestically in America. Internationally, it made around about just under another $50 million. And that means that the total on its opening weekend was about $100 million, which is a huge number for a horror movie. But this is where the thing kind of lies, which is what we're talking about now. They actually said, Paramount this is, actually said, despite the great box office, and heck, even now, the box office number for the movie now, as it stands right now, I think this is the second, third week, the movie has now made a total of $178.2 million total. So those numbers are still going to go up, and they still have the chance to go up. But for some reason, Paramount decided to put out a release date. What is that release date, you ask? They decided to put out a release date for July 30th, which is going to be the release of A Quiet Place Day 1 on PVOD. Yep, they're releasing the movie on digital at the end of this month, even though this movie has had a very successful run so far. And this immediately is going to make a lot of people think that 4 weeks after the movie's released, they're thinking, yeah, we're going to release it straight on digital. And here's the problem. I don't mind them releasing it on digital 30 days in, but I'm surprised. We've got 3 weeks to go, and for some reason, they have decided to tell us that it's coming out on digital on that day. Now, the reason that is a problem is because if anyone was planning to watch this movie over the course of the next 3 weeks, they can now think to themselves, instead of going to pay to go see that movie, how about we just wait and then just watch it at home? So basically, Paramount just cut the legs out from under this movie, and less people are going to go. Now, I know Deadpool and Wolverine was already a big movie that was going to take a lot out of this box office performance, but still, Deadpool and Wolverine would eventually calm down, and then people will just start rewatching movies, just like how Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes started to go up on the box office charts after a few weeks. That very much could have happened to A Quiet Place Day 1, because it's doing something that Deadpool and Wolverine is not doing. It's a horror movie. That makes it counter-programming. So you can get a lot of repeat business from counter-programming. And it gives some people a place to go who don't want to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, which after a couple of weeks very much could have been the case. But now, and Deadpool and Wolverine is not even out until the end of this month. So that means the next few weeks could have all gone to A Quiet Place Day 1, as well as other movies that are coming out in the next week or two. But yeah, they decided to just put this release out, which basically means that, yeah, you'd almost be an idiot to go out and watch this movie now in the theaters with the overcharged ticket prices. You might as well just wait and watch it at home. So, yeah, Big Bash said it best. Bad business decision. Yes, it is a very bad business decision. So, yeah, I don't know what possessed them to do this. And Paramount is a company that is struggling right now. They are trying to sell themselves and get bought out by someone else. But, yeah, by doing this, they've really kind of put themselves in quite a pickle, really. So yeah, Quiet Place Day 1 did great, but now I think you're going to start seeing those numbers go down in terms of its success rate, which is not a good thing. But at this point, what can you say? It really is it's just idiocy at this point. The G Gamer says, I'm guessing it was a panic mode button. It looks like it was, but it makes no sense. Why would you panic? This movie was being praised for doing a very good job with its box office performance. So this just goes to show it doesn't matter if you have a successful movie in Hollywood, they will still pull this thing where they say we'll release it straight to video on demand. And by doing that, sending it straight to video on demand, they're setting a precedent out there for other studios and just for theaters in general that theaters are basically screwed, because look how quick they're willing to put this movie out on digital. So yeah, not a good, not a good business venture, I gotta say. Creative Crocodile says, yes, Eric, first time viewing the live and not on the recording. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you could join live. If you have any questions you want to ask, be sure to ask and I'll answer them live as well. Whoa. Jake is at it again with a $140 donation. Thank you very much, Jake. Your donations, I always say, they always really are very much appreciated. All of your donations are appreciated. And unless Matthew means it, Jake is still the undefeated champ when it comes to donations on these live streams. So, Jake says, I find it weird how political people are making the latest Despicable Me movie. It's such a fluff movie. Anyways, if you think the American rating system is weird, you should see the Canadian rating system. Deadpool is rated 14A. So is Saving Private Ryan. Really? Wow. Are people making Despicable Me for political? There's nothing to make it political at. Well, I've not seen it, so I can't say, but judging by the trailer and just the output of movies that come from DreamWorks and Universal, well, this is not DreamWorks, this is Illumination, still a DreamWorks company, a Universal company, their movies have been very good. That's actually something I've been praising their movies for over Disney. Disney are just, like, making their movies so, they're just begging for those pats on the back, not caring if they will annoy parents or families, but Universal has been the opposite of that, so how can people make it political? I'm genuinely surprised by that. Matthew, I'll try that another time. I can't do music right now because I'll be editing live and I won't be paying attention to you guys. So I'll try doing that down the line. The Time Shadow says, I'm starting to think we should be concerned as to where Jake is getting all this money from. Are we sure it's by legal means? Yes, it's very much... Well, I don't know, but for me it doesn't matter. But Jake always seems like a very trustworthy person when I've chatted to him, so I don't know. I'm willing to give Jake the benefit of a doubt. I'm not asking any of those questions. That was the Time Shadow Jake. He's the one that was asking that, not me. Matthew says, Eric, were you disappointed with the third season of Daredevil like I was? I wasn't really disappointed with it. I was disappointed with the first 2 episodes because I thought they were a bit slow. But that season as a whole was actually my favourite because it had one big upside that the other seasons of Daredevil didn't. It was not trying to connect to anything. Daredevil Season 1 was trying to tease the Defenders, and Daredevil Season 2 was really trying to tease the Defenders, and it was also trying to tease the Punisher, although I would say it did a very good job with teasing the Punisher. Not so much a good job with how it was trying to tease Elektra. But Daredevil Season 3 was not trying to set up anything. It was a self-contained story, which, aside from the first 2 episodes, I thought did a very good job of splitting its story, whereas I thought Season 1 felt a bit slow at points. Season 2 felt better in terms of its pacing. But 3, to me, really, I think personally, knocked it out of the park in terms of its story and where it was focusing on. And yeah, a lot of people consider Daredevil Season 3 to be the best season. Jake says, Canadian rating systems. G means all ages. For us in the UK, that's a U, which means universal. PG means parental guidance. Same here in the UK. 14A means people under 14 have to come with a parent. We have 12A. 12A basically means what your 14A is, except the rating is 12, not 14. 18A, people under 18 have to go with a parent. That was a question that people were trying to give to the UK rating system. To 15 and 18, they were saying, could you do a 15A and an 18A? But they said, nah, there's not enough parents or demand for that 15A or 18A, so they didn't do it. The only reason we got a 12A was because so many kids wanted to see Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And parents were disappointed that their kids, for birthday, a lot of kids for birthday parties couldn't go see the first Spider-Man in theaters because it was a 12. So because they had enough demand for it, the BBFC created the 12A, and Spider-Man was the first movie to get a 12A. And Batman in the UK back in 1989 was the movie that created the 12 rating. So two comic book movies have had the biggest influence on our rating system here in the UK, Batman and Spider-Man. Let's see. But yeah, where's the rest of that? So yeah, 18A, people under 18 have to go with the parents, and R means no one under 18, which basically means NC-17, or your R rating in the Canadian rating system basically is our 18 rating in the UK system. Except we just have U, which is universal, or means G, PG, same as yours, 12, or 12A. The 12s in theatres are always 12A, no matter what. So we have the U, PG, 12A, 15, 18. Those are our ratings. We have X as well, but nothing is rated X. It's kind of like how nothing these days is given an NC-17, but X is even rarer than that. I've never seen anything given an X in my lifetime in the cinema. You guys asking Jake what he does. Big Bash says, I like to think Jake is an accountant. Yeah, I've never asked Jake what he does. Although Matthew Club, you did say you wanted to do $12,000, and like I said, I thought it was a joke. Jake says, oh, Jake's actually answered. He goes, he works at Evertz, a computer company. Oh, that's very impressive. Congratulations on that. Well done. Let's see here. Oh, developer of software and hardware products and services for the broadcast and film industry. Oh, cool. That's a very impressive, job that you've got there. That's actually kind of cool. I actually want to ask questions. It's actually that sounds really cool. Even Gwen agrees. Rohan agrees as well. Matthew even agrees as well. Big Bash goes, Matthew says he has a business, Eric, so he makes a lot of money. Yeah, I'm sure, but I'm just talking about... I'm sure. I'm just talking about... when he said he would donate 12,000, and I thought that was a joke. Yeah. Khan says, are we also in the Q&A section right now? Not yet. What does everyone think of this story then? Do they think this is a good business decision from Paramount? Do they think it's a bad decision? Do they think more studios should follow suit? Because Universal did release The Fall Guy like 2.5 weeks or just under 3 weeks after its release in theaters. And they released it on digital. But Universal has been doing that with all of their movies. So, except for Oppenheimer, of course, because Christopher Nolan demanded that it stay in theaters and not get a release until when he said, which was like 3 months after or 4 months after. So, yeah. Big Bash says, retarded move. Certainly is. Joshman says, Eric, what was it? Hang on. I do have a question. Do you believe that Sonic Hedgehog 3 is going to have that problem too, like releasing the movie on digital after 30 days? I don't think so, because Sonic is a Paramount movie, isn't it? But I don't know, I feel like Sonic is one of their big franchises, but then again, so is A Quiet Place. I feel like anything can happen at this point. New Godzilla Rex Kong says he just joined the stream. Oh, thanks very much, buddy. I appreciate that. Let's see. The G Gamer says, it's a good decision from Paramount. Nah, joking. It's a really bad move. It is a bad move. But I will say, it's a good move for those people that don't want to go to the theaters and they just want to wait for the movie to come home. For them, it'll be a better choice. Like my parents, for example, they don't go to see movies in the theaters very often. The last one they saw was Mission Impossible last year. So they normally just wait for whenever it comes out and they'll watch it on streaming, whatever. But yeah, the fact that it comes out at the end of this month means they'll be able to watch it at home. Or my dad can watch it on the projector. On my projector. Pop Culture Fan says, first time at these streams. Oh, that's great. I'm glad to see you join the stream. I've got that quite a few times today, like 2 or 3 times today. I've gotten people say that they've joined the stream for the first time. I'm so glad I get to see more of you guys for the first time live. Matthew Club, I do agree. I really did enjoy Underworld. The first one was rather cool. The second one was not as good, but it was still cool. The first one was 15 in the UK, the first Underworld. The second one was 18, back when movies would top themselves. I really did enjoy the third movie. The third movie, I think, was the first Underworld that I actually saw. And funnily enough, it was a prequel. And I really enjoyed it. I should try watching it again at some point. The G-Gamer says, not gonna lie, it's sad to see movies flopping left and right. Even some good ones have been flopping. It is. That Mission Impossible movie was also sad that it flopped. In fact, if it hadn't flopped, we would have gotten the second part, like, this month. We would have seen it by now. But now we're going to have to wait, I think, is it next year, or is it the year after that, where Tom Cruise has delayed it, and now he's not going to call it Dead Reckoning Part 2, he's going to call it something else, even though the first movie has released on digital and Blu-rays and all that, and it's got Dead Reckoning Part 1 in the title, so... yeah, so weird. Oh, thank you, Matthew Club. I appreciate that. Big Bash, I don't know. I probably would have majored in something filmmaking like. Creative Crocodile says, Eric, what's the biggest donation you have received? I've actually got my book here. I always write my donations down in here. Let's see. It was definitely from Jake. I don't know if Jake is still in the stream, but Jake has given me the biggest donations ever. Like, he's done... Let me see here. Going back to some of them. Actually, I don't need to go that far back. I think I just have to look at these pages I've got here from my early streams. Like, there was one time he donated, I think it was 280 Canadian dollars. Jake says he has to go now. Bye. Thank you very much for joining, Jake. I really do appreciate it. And it was fun having you on the stream, as always. And thank you for your donations. I always say you really do help. So thank you, Jake, very, very much. I really do appreciate it. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate your constant support. Take care. I really hope you have a great rest of the day. But yeah, Jake, he gave, what was it, a $280 donation before, and then he gave a $70 donation after that. So, these are Canadian dollars, though, so when they go to pounds, it's a lot less, and then you got YouTube taking a fee. But that was always appreciated when Jake would do that. It was like every stream, Jake would always donate a huge sum, and he's even done one now as well. But Matthew, if Matthew really does stick to what he said, which is he wants to donate $12,000, then that will be the new high. Because right now, I've said it, Jake is like the one that is right up here. But, yeah, no one's topped Jake, unless Matthew Club decides to do it. Then I don't think anyone will have ever topped Matthew Club at that point, so... Matthew, I gotta ask, are you really joking here? Because you're saying you're not joking, and I'm starting to believe you, but nothing has happened. And like I said, it has to be on Streamlabs, otherwise YouTube will really take a huge cut out from you. You can't trust YouTube when it comes to those kind of huge ones, because they take 30%, and they'll probably find ways to take even more. That's why I said Streamlabs has to be the place. But I don't know. I don't... Normally I thought that you would have dropped the act at this point, but the way you're saying, no, I'm being serious, you know. That's what, like what Gwen says, I don't know anymore. That's kind of where I am at now, too. Matthew says, just you wait, Eric, for your biggest donation. Well, I'm waiting. If everyone's tuned into the stream as well, so everyone else will be watching as well. I don't deny you have a business, Matthew. But donating $12,000 to me, I don't think anyone on YouTube has had a donation that big. You'll be a trendsetter, not just on this channel, but just in general. Big Bash says we can trust Matthew. Well, Big Bash trusts you 100%, so you've got someone in your corner right now. Let's see. So, unless anyone does anyone want to talk about Hollywood in general with regards to their release strategies when it comes to movies like this? Trevor Bistro says a versus video for Halloween, An American Werewolf in London versus The Howling. I want to do a Halloween versus video, but I want it to be something more known. You know, horror movies more known. So I'm going to decide something else, something more interesting, because that would be interesting, but that's more of a niche type, something more mainstream. Yeah. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, Matthew. I mean, if that's what you're going to do, then, like I said, I would trust everything. And Time Shadow is asking more Patreon questions. I'll answer it in a second. I don't mean to be rude if that was coming across, Matthew. I was just saying I just meant that's not something you hear every day on these streams, so it feels very unlikely. Spider John says, I think this strategy needs to end already in terms of movies being released very quickly on PVOD. I agree if they want to have the business survive, but at the same time, look how much money Disney has lost, and that they're still in business somehow. So I feel like they can lose a lot of money, and we can benefit from it for the first time. The Time Shadow says, hey Eric, you said that you have had a few Patreon commission videos, but on your Patreon page it still says that all slots are available. Yeah, what I meant was that you can stay donated. So if you want to keep donating commissioning videos every single month, you can, and I'll always give you those videos. That's what I meant. So I meant once those are taken, like people do on the rest of my Patreon's slots, those unlimited amount of people can take them. But with these, I put a cap on them. So if people stay on the perk and they keep doing it for months and months, and say 2 or 3 people do it, that means it's gone. Then no one can get it, basically. So that's what I mean by that. So if I was unclear, but that's what I meant. So yeah, some people have done it, but they didn't want to do it every single month. Oh, Big Bash, that's great. Good luck with that. Jacinda, great to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while. Jacinda says, geez, at this rate, Disney should just release Inside Out 2 already, since it made $1 billion. I agree. I think Doom Part 2 got its max release 2 months afterward, even though it was still in theaters. Yeah, and I think it was still making money in theaters as well. So, yeah. I haven't seen Forrest Gump, Trevor Bistro. That's one of the movies I've not seen. Source Fear says, do you play Mortal Kombat, Eric? I do. I've got Mortal Kombat on the PS Vita there. And I've got Mortal Kombat XL on the PlayStation 4 over there as well. And recently I got Mortal Kombat 11 a few months ago on my Steam Deck. So yeah, I've got Mortal Kombats. I've just not really had much time to play with them because I've been really busy. Pop Culture says, yeah, Paramount, in my opinion, bombed big time last year, mainly due to their release schedule. Yeah. Okay, Big Bash, now I'm starting to see a little cracks in the armor. He says, okay, maybe 12,000 is a bit much, but what about 7,000? 7,000 is fine too, but so far I've not seen any donations or any proof of that. So if you want to do it, do it. I'm still on the stream. I've got my notifications on. So if you do it, I'll find out and I'll announce it to everyone, and I'll put your name here. Okay then, let's go to the Q&A session. Take your time, Matthew. Whenever it gets done. Oh, reviews came in. Just joined. Good to see you again, buddy. Oh, Jess is back as well. Great to see you back, Jess. Now, Noah says, are you excited for Fast 11? I think Fast 10 was quite entertaining and brought back the feeling from the older ones. I'm interested to see how it ends, even if it's just Fast and Furious. I'm not really looking forward to it, because A, Gal Gadot is in there. I don't like Gal Gadot, especially because of the things that she's said on social media, which I've already discussed in the past. I'm like, no, I don't like... And plus, she's become a very bad actress, and I liked her death in the 6th one, her and her boyfriend's death, and bringing them both back just cheapens it all. And yeah. So no, the movie, I'm curious to see how it ends. But yeah, it's taking them a long time, isn't it? And the only reason I feel like they really want to make this the last one is because the 9th one didn't do as good at the box office. So they think, yeah, let's go back to basics. And they're trying to make it a smaller movie, not as big as the others. So yeah. And we know they're all going to survive as well. Matthew, what do you mean you haven't signed in yet? What do you mean? Reviews, that's okay. It's okay that you've missed the stream. It doesn't matter. Because A, they get catalogued, you can watch it later, and B, you're not going to make it to every stream, so it's quite alright, don't worry about it. Yes, I have seen Godzilla Frozen Empire, and in terms of versus videos, it was either doing that one or the Godzilla X Kong one, and I ended up doing Godzilla X Kong. It's not for the Matthew. It's not for the donation on Patreon. It's on Streamlabs. If you want to donate the big sums that you said, Streamlabs is the place to do it. That's why I've put the link. I've pinned it in the chat. So if you want to do it, head on over to Streamlabs, and that's the place you want to go to do a big donation like that. Not on Patreon. Patreon is for the perks that I've got. If you want to donate, you know, the amount you said, that's something that you do on Streamlabs. Gwen says, well, it's been fun, but I believe I have to go. Bye-bye. Okay, take care, Gwen. Thank you very much for joining the stream. It was great to have you on. Yeah, Matthew, Streamlabs. Let's see, did Gwen leave right when Matthew was about to donate the amount he says? I don't know. This will be something for the ages. Matthew says Streamlabs it is, so that means he must be going to Streamlabs right now. I mean, not only if he does do this, not only will this mean it will be the highest donation on any live stream, but it would also mean that Jake for the first time has been overthrown, and he's been basically in control of these donations in these live streams pretty much from the start. Let's see. Big Bash says, what was it, Big Bash? The pin on my little toe will be removed Tuesday. Wish me luck. Certainly I do wish you luck, Big Bash. Good luck. What was the other question? Oh, Cameron Shahid says, are you looking forward to Despicable Me 4? Not really, because I've only seen 1 and 2 when I was very young, and I need to see those again in order to... And I've not seen the 3rd one at all. So I need to see them again in order to know if I'm looking forward to Despicable Me 4. So yeah. I'm looking more forward to Shrek 5, personally. Have you seen Lego Ninjago? No, but I'm aware of the movie because I think people at the time were asking me to do versus videos of it. But it was one that I didn't really care to see, so I didn't end up doing a versus video on it. I want to know the characters actually age in this. Yeah, they don't seem to age in the Despicable Me universe, do they? Matthew says he is really trying to sign in. Well, it shouldn't be difficult to sign in, you know. Like I said, any donations would always be, are always appreciated. But a number like that, especially when you said that you weren't going to, and I said Jake is always the top one on this channel. To overthrow that, you need to... I don't know, we'll have to see. Matthew says, hey Eric, you should read Trevor's comment. Where is Trevor's comment? What are your top 5 horror movies? I haven't got a top 5 list, but I have got a top 2 list. Maybe I've got a top 3 list. Scream 1, The Conjuring 1, The Conjuring 2. And then for other 2 horror movies, let me think. What other 2 horror movies can I think of? Oh... That's where they start to lose me, and I'm like, which ones? Which other horror movie? Name some horror movies for me, guys. Just so I can think of it. Gary Loke, I have seen Stand By Me. I saw it a long, long time ago, though, with a bunch of kids. Those bunch of kids in the movie? Yeah, I think I've seen it a long time ago. Motivational speech, my day has been good so far. Let me think, what other... Halloween? That's not really my favourite. Maybe the first Nightmare on Elm Street would be one of them that I'd put on the list. It is a good one, Robin, but no, I wouldn't say that's on my favourites list, like right up there. I've not seen any of the Friday the 13th movies, except for the remake. The Hills Have Eyes, The Witch. No, those wouldn't be on my best list. Wrong Turn, very good movie, but not on my best list. It'd be probably my top 10, though. Ooh, what other one? No, I wasn't a fan of Hereditary, Robin. Midsommar, I've not seen that. The Shining, I watched that, but not that. Oh, Hussein has joined in. Doctor Sleep was very good, but no. Sting was really good. I liked that motivational speech. That was actually a good film. I really enjoyed it. Especially especially in the last act of the film. Yeah, G Gamer, I said that Nightmare on Elm Street is my 4th favorite. 5th favorite though. 5th favorite. Okay, I'm gonna just drop a weird one in there because a lot of you might not have seen it. The People Under the Stairs. That's another one that I'll drop. The People Under the Stairs. That is a Wes Craven horror movie, and it's a weird one, but it's honestly really quite good. Gary Loke says, have you watched The Iron Claw? I haven't, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. Am I looking forward to Twisters? Not really, because I've not seen the first one. Jacinda says Black Christmas 2019. No way. That's in my top 5 worst. John Carpenter's The Thing. No, I've not seen it. Oh no, I have seen that, but no, it's not on my list. Ooh. Trevor Bistro says Wes Craven underrated flick. Yep, that is a underrated flick from Wes Craven. Beetlejuice is a great man of honor and dignity. Sure he is. Trevor Bistro says Black Christmas 1974. That was a good movie, but not my favorite one. Venom 2. Nights. You guys, I swear, are just doing this on purpose now. Those are not good ones. Source Fierce says, are any of you guys excited for Deadpool and Wolverine? I'm still kind of meh. How about you, Eric? I was excited with the first trailer, but yeah, after that second trailer, I was kind of like meh. Like, I'll see it when I see it, but I'm not in no rush. I'm not super excited or anything. So yeah, I would say not really. Not really that into it, to be honest with you. Noah says, Eric, what are the versus videos you've got the most criticism for? I've watched your Blade Runner video and I don't agree with your scores. I think 2049 is great, but it didn't seem very popular. The most criticism for, I remember Ghost in the Shell. People didn't like the way I was talking about Ghost in the Shell. When I did the Child's Play versus video, some people didn't like how I was being so nice to the remake. Doesn't mean I said I favored it, but I still really liked it. Big Bash says Cars. Yep, Cars is a movie, as you all know, I did not like. And I was a kid when I saw it. I was 11. I'm excited for the new Spider-Man Miles Morales Part 2. If you talk about the Miles Morales game, not really, because I didn't like where they ended Spider-Man 2, the game. Wow, Cameron says, that's 3 Wes Craven films in your list. Yeah, it sure is. The guy left one heck of a legacy. Another movie he made that I loved was Red Eye with Cillian Murphy. That was the first movie. Sorry, the second movie I saw Cillian Murphy in. Matthew says, okay, sorry, I have to go now. I'm sorry I didn't donate. Matthew, I don't mind if you don't donate. That's entirely your choice, but the fact that you said that you were going to, this hasn't really made me think that it was true. It hasn't convinced me. So, but like I said, you can donate anytime, even when I'm not on stream with Streamlabs. So, if it works and you do it, say, tomorrow or something, or later on today, I swear to you I will do a live stream, join up, specifically to say that Matthew Clubb has donated $12,000 or $7,000, which you said you were going to do. But, yeah, that's what I said. I said I wasn't really convinced of it. But, like I said, that's something you can donate at any point. It doesn't have to be just as this live stream is live. Joshman says, Eric, I was asking before, did you like the way how they poked fun the stupidity and ridiculousness of garbage preschools with the Bluffy character in Pixar's Inside Out 2? I didn't notice that when I was watching Inside Out 2. Is that what they were trying to do with that? Interesting if they did. Matthew says, no, I didn't say I was going to donate right on the stream. But why wouldn't you want to? That's when I can really highlight you. I said I'll even put your name on the screen for the rest of the live stream. The Time Shadow says, I know you loved Freaky. Yeah, I did not like that. 4 years ago. Was that 4 years ago now, that movie Freaky? That's before the pandemic, that is. That is insane. How time just flies by. I actually don't like it how time flies by. That means I was 4 years younger. I was about 26 then. Or 25. Spider John says, gotta go. Bye. Have a great stream. Yeah, thanks very much for joining, buddy. Take care. No, I've not seen Sleepaway Camp, Trevor. Joshua says, Eric, I was asking before, what was the absolute worst Mortal Kombat movie you've ever watched? That would include both the live-action movies and the animated Mortal Kombat movies. The worst one I ever watched was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That was so bad I couldn't even sit through all of it. Still haven't watched the whole movie to this day. Because it was just so bad. Classic Brickman says, Eric, what score would you give The Force Awakens now out of 10? 3. I was thinking of this before, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't amount to anything anymore. You can watch the stuff that I liked that they were teasing now means nothing, because The Last Jedi made it mean nothing, and Rise of Skywalker didn't do anything to really make it mean anything either. Like how Maz Kanata had that lightsaber, you know, Luke Skywalker's, and said, where'd you get this? That's a story for another time. Well, we never found out. So yeah. 3 out of 10, and that's being generous. I feel like I want to drop it to a 2 in many ways as well. Let's see. Kevin says, do you like Bill and Ted? And you're welcome about $2 donation. Yeah, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. And Bill and Ted, I've not seen Bill and Ted. I know of it, but I've not seen it. The reason is because the first movie I saw Keanu Reeves in was Matrix, and then I saw him in Speed, and then some other action movies. I think it would scar me if I saw him in Bill and Ted and seeing him acting so goofy. Gary Loke says, you wouldn't believe what happens in the latest Acolyte episode. The character who's supposed to be an evil Sith Master is made a joke by showing his naked body in front of the hero. Yeah, people are saying that they were trying... It's like a thirst trap, where they're trying to have him take his shirt off. So yeah, that's just... It's just what the crap they do with Star Wars now, isn't it? What Disney do with it. Okay, what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to bring these images over into the stream that our buddy did at the beginning of the stream. Let me quickly open up OBS. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. And this is 3. Now let's go back into the streaming software. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to import these images that he sent over. Man, do they have to be so big? I always have to shrink each of them down every single time. Okay. Don't worry, you'll see what I'm doing in a second. I'm just going to import these images, these posters. And there are a couple of funny looking ones that that King of the Monsters 2021 did. So here's one, and here'll be the other one, and then I'll bring in the third one. Alright, here you go. These are 2 of the posters that he's put up. And don't worry, you'll see me in a second. But yeah, here's 2 of the posters that he's put up. Godzilla in the Wasteland, a Mad Max legend. So Godzilla and Mad Max, which is actually pretty impressive. Godzilla and Mad Max actually sounds like a movie that I would almost want to see. And then we have Godzilla and Independence Day, which is also really cool. And the final one is this, Godzilla of Dune. So Godzilla crossing over with Dune. He does some, King of the Monsters 2021 does some really good little fan posters and little mashups here. So yeah, those were very, very funny, very impressive, and having Godzilla go up against that big sandworm, that would be cool to see. So yeah, well done to King of the Monsters 2021 for that. And guys, I'm actually going to end the stream in 2 minutes because it is getting a bit hot, quite a bit hot in here because of the weather that we're in. And yeah, so any questions you have, any Streamlabs chats, any super chats, anything, next 2 minutes is the time to do it. Gary Loke says, have you watched the second half of Invincible yet? I haven't. Because of that bloody break they did, where they made you wait 4 months or something to see the next half of the season, I've just lost interest, and a lot of people did. So, I need to get back to seeing it, and then I'll put it up on Patreon so you guys can all watch it as well. So, yeah. Big Bash, mine is Jet Ray. I think I used to always like Jet Ray. Or Big Chill was also cool, but yeah, I'd say Jet Ray. Swampfire also liked. Let's see. Classic Brickman, thank you very much for joining the stream. We're gonna sign out in a bit anyway, so it's great to see you. Thanks for joining. Trevor Bistro says, speaking of horror, very excited for Long Legs next week. Oh, cool. Joshman says, Eric, are you definitely not looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine? And do you think that Disney is going to play it safe with the R rating? I think Ryan Reynolds has control of the R rating here, and he will do everything he can to make the movie what he wants. So I have no issues with them making a rated R, because this is the Fox regime making the movie, and the Fox regime knew how to use the R rating. It's just the MCU that don't know how to use the R rating. So I'm not looking forward to it as per se, but I will see it when it comes out. And Khan says, alright then, goodbye, and oh, don't worry Eric, I'll make sure to pin every single timestamp in the stories that you've talked about. Oh, thank you very much, Khan. I really appreciate all the times you've done that. It's really helped and saved me time, so thank you very much. Gary Loke says, will you review the Cobra Kai Season 6 episodes? I don't know, we'll see closer to the time. That's what my Patreon is for, and that's what my YouTube memberships will be for. So that way I can talk about them without having to do the full-on editing thing, but I can still always talk about them to you guys. That's what those are there for, Patreon and YouTube memberships, so that's how you'll see my opinions on those. Anthony Jameson says, I can't believe they cancelled the Arkham TV show. I was really hyped about it. Yeah, it's a shame. I was hyped too, and I didn't even know much about it either. That's what, was such a disappointment. I still wanted to see it. Jess says, Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be a masterpiece. Well, let's hope so. I'm already not looking forward to the villain. I feel like we have a sixth sense to these these generic MCU villains now, and this looked like a generic villain to me, but we'll have to see. Sonic 3, and then Mufasa, says Trevor Bistro. Yes, I'm looking forward to Sonic 3. Joshman says, are you definitely the most excited to see Sonic the Hedgehog 3 when it comes out in December? Yes, I am. Looking very forward to seeing it. Freya says, hello. Hi, Freya. Sorry, but it looks like we're about to end the stream now. So, yeah, I'm sorry to say we're going to be ending the stream now. Trevor, excited for Nosferatu? I've not seen the trailer. I've heard there's a trailer, but I still need to wait and see that. I still need to see that. Anyway, guys, that was it. It was fantastic, as always, chatting with all of you. And I really appreciate the support. I really appreciate the financial support, just the channel support. Just you guys, I really appreciate each and every single one of you. So thank you very much for joining up on the live stream. Thank you very much for your generosity. And stay tuned, as I have plenty more exciting videos coming up in the future. My next one being Inside Out 1 versus Inside Out 2, which will be up in the next few days. Especially for patrons, they'll get it even earlier. So thanks very much for watching, everyone. And I'll catch all of you very, very soon. Take care.